Hello everyone, I'm your hostess with the mostest 8-second gaming. In today's video, we are going to be talking about how you can get better positioning in Apex. Positioning is very crucial to actually winning a fight, so a lot of people want to understand it and get better, so let's break it all down. But just quickly, if you guys are really looking to take your Apex skill to the next level, then you need to check out the GameLeap website right now. Over there, we have top level coaches, including myself, creating the best, most highly informative guides to make you the best player you could possibly be. We have legend guides, gun guides, VOD reviews, and much more, so click the link in the description, pick yourself up on membership, and start to improve today. But okay, with that done, let's hop back into things. And the first thing that we got to talk about when learning to get better positioning is understanding power positions. Now, power positions, like the name suggests, are just powerful spots around the map that help you win fights. These are spots that will allow you to dominate the enemy team by taking angles that they can't really do anything against, like a head glitch, for example, or just taking off angles or other things like that that they don't really have any defenses against. These power positions set you up for dealing out maximum damage without taking as much in return. And power positions are actually a really interesting thing when it does come to Apex because they are constantly evolving throughout the entirety of the game. A power position that works one game might not work the next game because teams are reacting differently, or the ring pulls a different way, or just other things like that. Understanding power positions is a very tricky and complex thing because they are constantly changing. So one thing that you always have to keep in mind when you are running around is how to identify these. And the main way that you can do this is basically just through playtime. You have to be going around figuring out what kind of spots are going to do well in different fights and just using trial and error. But for power positions, a great rule of thumb is high ground is king. Typically, power positions are going to have maximum amounts of cover or high ground, because those give you the best options for your fight. High ground is very hard to push without blowing abilities or using other things like that, and if you force the enemy team to use their abilities early, that can really change the fight in your favor. So whenever you're approaching a fight and you want to get better positioning, always identify that power position and start to take that before anything else. But now we can move into the next thing that we got to talk about, and that is anticipation. Now, anticipation is actually something that I learned all the way back when I played Rainbow Six Siege, but it has transferred into Apex beautifully. Learning and anticipating where enemy teams are going to move and play is very key, because then you can position yourself in the right spot to counter their movement. If you go into a fight and you're not thinking what the enemy team is going to be doing, then you are more than likely going to get surprised by them. They might take an off angle or do something that you weren't expecting because you weren't really thinking about it. But if you put yourself in the shoes of the enemy team and start to think, okay, if I'm in their spot, what would I do? Well, maybe I'd try to swing this rock on the left-hand side. And then when you pay attention to that, you might see an enemy is actually doing that and you are ready to shoot them as soon as they do it. Not only will it help you position better, but it will also catch them off guard because they think that they're doing a big brain play, but you already are onto it. So they swing around the corner and they might swing a little bit wider than they normally should, and you can punish them because you anticipated it. And anticipation is probably the easiest thing to learn when getting better positioning, because all you really have to do is just think about what you would do if you were the enemy. Once you start to do that, it's just going to become muscle memory, it's going to become a second nature to you, and you'll find that you don't even have to think about it after a little while because you're just already doing it. But because you are doing it, you'll find that you're getting caught off guard a lot less often and you're in better positioning most of the time. But now we can move into our next topic, and this is overusing cover. This is something that I see plague a lot of people when they think that they are trying to get better positioning. They will take the first tip, understand that they have to be playing cover, and then play cover non-stop. They think if I'm out in the open, I'm just 100% a dead man, so I have to be behind something every single time I get into a fight. And that is not the case. Yes, cover is helpful and you should be playing behind it the majority of the time. If you're in a long drawn out poke battle, then yeah, you don't want to be out in the open. Or if you're in the straight up battle against somebody and you have cover, then yes, you should be playing it. But overplaying cover might cause you to miss out on some very key moments in certain fights. Because if you crack someone or do a lot of damage, then you need to take advantage of that. If you're just stuck playing behind cover and only playing behind cover, you might not push up on opportunities that you need to push up on. That will allow the enemy team to reset. They're going to heal up, they're going to get back into the fight, and you just wasted the opportunity that you needed to actually win the fight. So understanding how to get better positioning does go way beyond just using cover. You have to know when to not use cover at the same time. Starting a fight off, yes, use cover. be behind it, take as little damage as you possibly can while dishing out as much as you can. But once you do dish out that damage, then you need to stop using that cover and push up if you are able to. And I say if you're able to because maybe the enemy teammates are just staring at you, so if you leave cover, you're just gonna get absolutely blown up. But if I go over every single thing like that, it's just gonna be way too long. So hopefully you guys get what I mean. And this actually does lead perfectly into the next thing that we gotta talk about, and that is underusing cover. And this is because there's two sides to every coin. Some people overuse cover and never leave it, and some people just never use cover ever. And these are the people that usually throw the fight because they're usually the first ones that go down. And I think everyone watching knows at least one person, and I'm willing to bet that some of you are this person. But underusing cover is another thing that really holds you back when you're trying to learn how to get better positioning. Some people take the aggressiveness of Apex way too seriously, and they think, okay, well, if I'm playing cover, then I'm not actually gonna be in the fight, I'm not gonna be doing anything, so I need to just be go, go, go. And coincidentally, most of the time, these are Octane players. But while in theory that not using cover will allow you to be in the fight more often, it actually might not be that way once you actually break it down. Because if you don't use cover and you die almost instantly, yeah, you were in the fight for the 2 seconds that you were. But if you use cover and you use it effectively, then you're going to be in more fights because there's going to be more happening and you can survive that stuff that's happening. You'll still be able to shoot your gun, you'll still be able to do damage, you'll still be able to fight people, but hopefully you won't be taking that damage in return. So this will open up more opportunities for you to start being more aggressive because you're not taking damage, you're dishing out damage. This will allow you to then push off of that damage, instead of standing in the open, being a wide open target and just going down within the first couple seconds of the fight and throwing the game for your team. This is something that keeps people very hard stuck and holds people back from actually getting better. So with these last two topics, I really want you guys to go into your next game and think, do I underuse cover or do I overuse cover? Look at how you take every single fight. Look at how you're doing in these fights. Do you never move once you find a good rock or head glitch or something? Then you're overusing cover. Or do you just find yourself never using cover? Well, then you're not using cover, you're underusing cover. Start to realize this, have it in your head, and start to really reinforce it that you need to stop doing that one particular thing. And the next thing you want to talk about when it comes to getting better positioning is watching content and absorbing their positioning. Most of you out there probably watch Twitch or maybe other YouTube videos of people playing, but when you're watching those, you don't really understand the positioning or why they're taking the spots that they do. All you really do is watch it, see them pop off, do some really cool plays, and don't really gain anything from actually watching that. You just see them do all this cool stuff, think, hey, I want to do this too, and when it doesn't work out the same way, then you get really frustrated. But most of the time, pro players or players that are good at Apex are able to pull stuff off because their positioning is key. They take the right spots in fights and they take positions that allow them to do those cool things. So if you are the type to enjoy content like that, then next time you're watching, start to think about how you would position in the fight that they're in. Think, all right, well, they're running up on this rock, maybe I'd go left, maybe I'd do this, maybe I'd do that, and see how they position based off of what you would do. If they're doing the same things, then you're probably going to be on the right track when it does come to positioning, and then all you need to do is apply that knowledge to in-game. But if they're doing things that you wouldn't do or that you didn't think of doing, then start to understand how that affects them differently than what you would have done. You're going to be gaining so much knowledge, so much information without even having to play the game. You can be doing this while you're laying in bed, while you're at work, while you're at school, a bunch of different things. And not that I'm biased or anything, but you guys should definitely come check out my stream if you guys are looking to get some better positioning over on Twitch TV/8second gaming. Or if you have any questions about positioning, drop a comment down below and I'll do my best to answer it. And if you guys want to stay up to date with the latest and greatest Apex Legends tips, tricks, and news, don't forget to smash that like and subscribe button. Thanks all for watching. Once again, I'm 8second Gaming, and I'll see you guys in the next one.